Hello everyone, and now that we've set up our API route for our watchlist functionality, we will now be adding and removing items to our watchlist. So we have this page here, one of our movie detail, and this add to watchlist button. We'll be testing this button and we'll be using it to add or remove this movie to our watchlist. And we have another tab open, and this tab has our watchlist endpoint open. So when we add, we're going to refresh this endpoint to see if anything has been added to it, and if we remove, we also check back here and reload to see if it reflects. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, we want to check if the movie, while it loads, if it already exists in our user's watch list. Okay, so we're going to quickly do that. So we're going to close these files. I will head to our dynamic page, which is under movies and id.js, and right at the bottom, or where do we start? Let's see. Right at the top, we're going to define a state. So right below or right above model states, we're going to create a state. We're going to call this bookmarked states, and just below it's going to define our states. So use states for now. So right in here, we're going to define our states. So we're going to say is book marked, and set is bookmarked. So this is going to hold a truth or false statement. So if is bookmark is at true, that means the movie that's loaded is already in our watch list, and we're instead going to display a remove from watch list button. Okay, so this is going to determine it. So we're going to populate this state with a true or false statement. Okay, so we're going to we're going to define another button that's going to render if is bookmarked is set to true. So by default, this add to watch this button is going to display if its bookmark is false. So you're gonna right above it, we're gonna define a condition. I'm gonna say is bookmarked. So if bookmarked is true, we're going to render the remove from watchlist button. Else, we're going to render the add to watchlist button. So I'm going to cut this add to watchlist button and paste it in here, and also paste it at the top. But the difference here is that the first one is going to be a remove from watchlist. Okay, and this is going to be add to watchlist. So we're gonna save it. So in here you can see it's still add to watch list. So let's change our states to see that in action. So we're gonna set the initial state to true. You see our button is now saying remove from watch list because we have a statement that says that this movie that loaded it's already exists in our watch list. So we're going to have the button that displays remove from watch list. But we are going to keep that. Let's put it false to test it the other way around. And you can see it's now add to watch list. So for now, it's going to be blank. We're not going to pass any value yet. So we're going to define that when this page already loads, when this page is loaded. So we're going to do that in our get server side props. So what we are going to do is we're going to first of all retrieve the ID of this of the movie that we're loading, and then we use that ID to fetch the data for the movie from the game by ID function, which we've already done. Then now we are going to use the ID from the session using the get server side session from NextAuth and set the user ID variable to the ID if the user is logged in. Then we're going to check if this movie item exists. And we're going to use two items to check if it exists. The EMS version ID, that's the movie ID, and then that user ID that we just retrieved. If that item is found after filtering, then this movie already exists in our bookmark. So let's quickly do that. So down here, we have our EMS version ID, which is okay. Then we have a movie detail data. Great. So right below it, well, just like we did in our API route, we're gonna destructure user from the get server side get server session method from NextAuth. I'm gonna pass in. Actually, you want to first of all pass in a query, our request and our response first. So we're gonna pass in request, a response. Okay, so in here we're gonna pass request, response, and of course our auth options. We're gonna import it. So then we're gonna get our user from there. Okay, and then we're gonna create a user ID, which is going to be this user.id. Okay, so after that we're gonna create a variable called bookmark. Okay, and bookmark is going to check if you're going to check for, or it's going to store the value of any item that matches our filter query. So now we want to filter our database to see if any if this movie that we've loaded already exists in our watch list table. So we're going to say await prisma.watchlist.find unique. So find 0 or 1 watch list that matches the filter. Okay, and writing it, I'm gonna say where, and what's the next thing that we are going to pass to it? So we are going to pass in the user ID / or underscore movie ID compound unique identifier. Okay, so we're gonna move here and say user ID underscore movie ID, and then we are going to pass in the movie ID. Now, okay, the movie ID is our EMS version ID, which we defined up here. And lastly, our user ID is going to be our user ID that we defined. So instead of this, we can just replace. Since the same thing, we could just replace it with just the user ID alone. Okay, and then we're going to create a bookmarked variable. So we're going to say this is the importance variable here. Say bookmarked is going to be equals to I'm going to put two exclamation marks, then our bookmark. So we're actually converting this variable is going to store whatever we find. You're going to find the if we found the movie already in our watch list, we're going to convert it already to a true or false statement. So we are literally converting this bookmark variable to a true or false value by prefixing it with a double negation symbol. Okay, so let's keep going. So we have bookmarked right here. The next thing we're going to do right now is we're going to pass this bookmarked as a prop and also pass in our EMS version ID. Okay, so the bookmark is the prop is what we're going to later pass to our state. So remember, this bookmark is going to be true if this EMS version ID already exists in our database. So that means this movie we've loaded already exists in our watch list. So if it exists, it's going to be true. If it doesn't exist, it's going to be false. And that's what we're later going to pass to our use state at the very top. Remember how that's going to work. If it is true, our buttons are going to render based on that. So we're going to pass EMS version ID and then bookmarked. Okay, so right up here, we're then going to get that. We're going to get EMS version ID, and we're going to get our bookmarked variable. Okay, and in here, we're going to pass in bookmarked. Okay, and let's see, I think we're having an error, and it says invalid Prisma invocation. So I think our error is coming from our get server side session. Our get server session, we didn't pass the await keyword. So if we click on it right now, we should have our code up and running. As you can see here, we now have our page loading. So loaded rather. So we use the negate symbol to convert this bookmark variable to a true or false statement. So if it is true, that means the movie, this movie that we've loaded already exists in our watch list. So we're going to then set that to bookmarked, and then we are passing in bookmarked at the top to our state. Is bookmark state. So if bookmarked is true, it means that the movie that we've just loaded, or that we just came to look at the basic information, already exists in our watch list. If it's false, it has not been added to our watch list already. Okay, next thing we have to do right now is to actually add and remove movies from our watch list. Okay, so we're going to create a loading state first. So right after our bookmark state, we're going to say loading states, and our loading states, we have const is loading and set is loading equals to new states, and it's going to be false. It's going to be our loading state. Okay, now let's define our add to watch list function. Okay, so at the top, just right after our rounded rating, we have a comment here that says add to watch list, and add movie to watch list rather. Add movie to watch list, and we're gonna say call a variable, a function rather, add to watch list equals to, and a same function, and we're gonna set is loading to true, and then we're gonna have our try catch block. Try catch. We're gonna have our console log error in it. So let's try. Go to our try. So in this try block, we are going to make a push request to our new API endpoint. Okay, so it's going to say const res is going to be equals to await fetch, and it's at slash API slash watchlist. I'm going to pass in some options, and I'm going to have method, and our method is post. Remember, in our API routes, we're checking the director's method was post, so this is it here. Then after method, we have our headers. Our headers. That's going to be an object, and we're going to have content type. Going to be application /JSON. Okay. After that, we're going to have our body. Remember, and in our API, our watch list endpoint rather, we were destructuring some items from the rec.body. So that's what we have here. Body, and we're going to say JSON. We're going to convert it to a JSON object. So JSON.stringify. And we're going to pass in the object, and we're going to pass in the movie ID ID. I remember movie ID is the EMS version ID that we just exported through get server side props. Then we have the name, and the name is going to come from the name we destructured right here. Since it's the same name, we're going to pass right the name alone. Then we have the rating. Our rating is coming from tomato rating dot tomato meter. After rating, we have poster, and poster is coming from poster image dot URL. Then our user ID. Now user ID, we're gonna pass it null. So let's get our user ID. Our user ID, you're gonna get it from our use session hook from NextAuth. So we're gonna let's comment this and say next router. So right below the next router, I'm just gonna say user session, and so it's gonna be const. The structure is data. You're getting it from a use session from NextAuth/React, and we're gonna call it session. And let's see. Let's quickly log that out. Session. And you can see we have session. It gives us user and the ID. So I need so in here we're just gonna say session dot user dot ID. Okay, now I could clear this console.log statement. Okay, so now I've passed in the movie, the name, the rating, I've passed the necessary body, and down here I'm gonna create a new variable called data, and then await res dot the JSON, and I'm just gonna console.log data, and I'm just gonna set is bookmarked to true. So that would mean that after saving this to our bookmark, we're going to then change the state. Okay, so let's see that in action. And before then, I think after our try catch statement, I'm going to set is loading to false. And then this loading state is important for our button UXY. So I'm going to go to our add to watch this button, and I'm going to say loading prop, and I'm going to pass this loading to it. Then our on-click event, anonymous function, and we're going to be add to Watchlist. So let's hit in action. So I have the API Watchlist endpoint open, and you can see it's still empty. So I'm going to now add to my Watchlist to see what's going to happen. Click on add to Watchlist, and you can see we have this message saying added to Watchlist, status of success, and then the object of what we just added to our Watchlist. So if we refresh our Watchlist API endpoint, you can see we now have that item, and you can see that our button has now changed to remove from Watchlist. So that's how to implement the add to Watchlist functionality in our movie management app. Next, now we're going to implement the remove from Watchlist functionality. Okay, to do that, let's visit our Watchlist endpoint. I remember it's a dynamic API route, and I think we forgot to add an await keyword here. So we're going to have await get server session. Okay, so we don't run into any other error. Okay, so back here, let's define our remove from Watchlist function. So just right above our return statement, write a comment that says remove from Watchlist, and I'm going to say const remove from Watchlist. It's going to be a sync. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to have a try catch block. Catch, that's an error. Console.log. That's error. Okay, so and above the try catch block, we're going to set is loading to to true, and right after the catch block, I'm gonna set is loading to false. Okay, so now in our try catch block, I'm gonna make our fetch request, and remember is a delete method, so I'm gonna say const res equals to await fetch, and I'm gonna use template literal, so backticks slash API. Remember it's a dynamic API route, so we're gonna say slash API slash watchlist slash then the movie ID. So in our case, it's our EMS version ID we want to pass in, and then we're gonna pass in a method, and gonna pass in delete, as you could see. So I think that's all, because the delete request is actually pretty simple. So I'm gonna say const data is gonna be equals to await res.json. Okay, and I'm gonna console.log this data, and I'm then going to set its bookmark to false because we've removed it from our watchlist, and so it's no longer bookmarked. So I'm just going to clear our console, and I'm gonna run that. So I'm gonna click on. So let's set our remove from watchlist loading state. Let's set that. So up here, I'm just gonna copy the same thing with the on click. I want to change the on click from add to watchlist to remove from watchlist. Okay, so let's click on it. As you can see, it says watchlist item deleted with the data of what we just deleted and status of success. So if I refresh my watchlist, you can see it's now empty. So we've successfully implemented the remove from watchlist functionality using the NextJS API route. And you can see, just like any other REST API, we could access it or consume the API using our fetch library. So let's make some finishing touches. Now these finishing touches we involve a nice notification system. So if we look at if we go back and if we look at our finished product right here, let's click on a movie for instance. So let's look at the same movie, Minions the Rise of Gru. And if we add to watch this, you can see this nice notification banner that just popped up. So we're going to implement that. So Matine has a notification system. So I'm going to type in notifications. So I have a notification system down here, and you need to install the Matine notifications package. And remember, since it's a starter file, so we don't have to install it anymore. And we then have to import the notifications components in our root application. Then we could start using it. Okay, that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to go ahead to our root components underscore app.js. So right after Matine here, I'm just going to say notifications from Matine notifications. And that's all we need. So we're going to close this, and I'm going to head back to our movie detail page. And now it's time to add some nice, improve the UX rather. So I'm going to show a notification when we want to add an item to our watch list. So right above the try block, I'm going to say notifications dot show. And it's going to be a method with an object, and I'm going to pass in some items. So it starts with ID. When you need to pass an ID, I'm going to call it add watch list. Okay, and then this ID is necessary to track the notification, so we can update it later. We're going to have a loading, and loading is going to be true, and then I'm going to have a title. So the title of the notification banner, I'm going to say adding to watch list. The next is going to be the message. Now message is going to be a template literal, so we have some backticks. So we want to put in the name of the movie. So we're going to be name of the movie, and then will be added to your watch list. Then we have auto close, which will be false, and then with close button, to be let's set it to true for now. Okay, let's set it to true for now. So let's see that in action. So if I click on add to watch list, you could now see we have the banner there and it's saying, add to watch list. Great. So I'm going to remove from watch list so that we could go back to properly implementing it. So right there. So now the notification system also has an update. Okay. So remember, if we successfully add something to the watch list, we have this object that returns message, status, and watch list. So we're going to track this status key. So in our try block, after saying data that res equals await the res.json, we're going to have a conditional statement here that says if data.status is equal to success. We want to update that notification banner. Okay, so we're gonna copy this, and I'm gonna paste it right here. But instead of show, it's going to be update, and you're gonna have the same ID, but that's what we're going to use to track. I'm going to have a color. I'm gonna give it teal, and they're going to have loading because of course we are reloading again. We are now updating the notification, and the title is going to be added to watch list, and the message is going to be the name has been added to your watch list. I'm going to have an icon right here. So after I'm going to have an icon, I'm going to render an icon. So icon check. I'm going to give it a size of 1 rem. Then pass another close. So how many seconds should it display before it closes? 3 seconds. So that's going to be 3,000 milliseconds. And we're going to remove this property here. If I save, we are good to go. Okay. And so also remember, I want to check if it's also existing. All right. So after setting bookmark to true, we're going to say now we have this if. So this if is going to wrap everything. So I'm gonna clear this here, and down here we're gonna say else if this data.status is equals to existing. We also want to update the notification again, but with a different message. The same ID, of course, track, and the color this time is going to be yellow, and you're going to say movie already exists. I'm going to say dash already, the name already exists in your watch list, and the icon is going to be, so icon check is going to be icon circle, and the size this time is going to be 2 rem. Also going to close after 3 seconds. Okay, and that's it. So let's see that in action. So I'm going to add to watch list, add into watch list, and you can see added to watch list. So we have this nice improvement to our UI. So we're going to do the same thing to the remove from watch list. So I'm literally going to copy the exact same thing. So up here, our notifications that show, I'm just going to copy it and add our remove from watch list right after setting our loading space to true. But I'm going to change the ID. So the ID will be remove watch list, and it's going to be removing from watch list, and we say dash will be removed from your watch list. Okay, and save. So the close button is also going to be false. I think I'm going to correct that at the top here. False. Okay, and what else? So we're also going to update it. But the delete also has a success states too. So let's see. I think I can just copy this whole thing here. Or no, I'm just going to copy the notification. Okay, so in our delete request, right after deleting and right after our console, we're just going to check. So we're going to say if data.status is equals to success, then we run it or we close it. Okay, I'm going to update, and it's going to be remove watchlist ID, and this time it's going to be still going to be teal, actually still going to be teal. And I'm gonna say removed from watchlist. I'm gonna say has been removed from your watchlist. Icon check to same properties. Then you're going to have another else if. So it's going to be if there's an error. So else if data.status equals to error. We're then going to display this notification again. But the properties are going to be a bit different. So the color instead is going to be red. And we're going to have a title that just says error, and the message is going to be data.message. I'm going to clear all this here. Come back here and say data.message. Okay, and you're gonna be an icon info circle. Icon info circle, size of 2 rem. Auto close of 3 seconds. And yeah, I think we're good to go. I'm gonna error console log error dot message. Let's leave that error. I think that's all we need. So I'm just gonna clear the console.logs right here. Because you can confirm that they are working and they are outputting the necessary data that we need. Great, we're good to go. So let's test that. So for the remove from waitlist, moving from watchlist rather, and removed from watchlist. So yes, we are good to go. And these marks the wrap to this part of the tutorial where we've consumed our API route to add a movie to our watchlist and remove them from our watchlist. Next part of the video, we will be building out the watchlist page. See you.